It's a roll call of quality champions and a championship that sets the benchmark for innovation in world golf. The Oates' abundant sunshine, magnificent beaches and magnetic coastal towns that attract visitors by the thousands through the summer. Maybe a haven for tourists and visitors. It's also home to some wonderful golf courses, including this 36-hole layout at 13th Beach, where we're bringing you round 3 coverage of the 2018 Oates Victorian Open. I'm Grant Dodd, joined in commentary this week by Ali Whitaker. Ali, welcome. And Ali, I think it's interesting to me that you're from this area. You live at Torquay. We know it's a great place. We know it's a great place for a golf tournament. What do you like about it?
Well, I think it just doesn't act like a normal golf tournament. We've been saying it all week, and I think the thing that is really, truly special is the fact that players come here. They don't stay in a host hotel. They're in housing. We have 6 girls in a caravan this week. It just doesn't behave like normal events around the world do, and I think it's an absolute credit to the organisers that everyone's so relaxed here.
Expect today?
It all depends on whether the wind kicks up, to be honest with you. And yesterday it was a little bit of a trickier afternoon. I think the cut went out about 2 or 3 shots in the afternoon. Everyone was getting ready to pack their bags, and then all of a sudden they were unpacking them back into the caravan for some of the girls. But, you know, I think it really does depend on the wind coming off the ocean, it's particularly on the beach course. And they were split on the beach and the creek the first 2 days. But
what we have seen at this championship over the years is the emergence of some wonderful talent, and we've got a superb roll call of winners in this championship from 2013 onwards. Of course, 2013, Stacey Keating in the Women's Championship and Maddie Giles in the Men's.
And Minjee Lee, her win as an amateur, trying to back it up again alongside Matt Griffin, the Victorian. He took the trophy.
In 2015, Marianne Skarpnord and her partner in life, Richard Green. What a fairy tale finish.
Michael Long, the Kiwi, took the trophy in 2016. And alongside the starlet now of European golf, Georgia Hall, she picked up her first event as a title as a professional.
In 2017, one of the rising stars of Australian golf, Dimi Papadakis, and a crowd favourite, Mel Reid from England. And what a celebration it was in 2017. Championship in the men's side of the field. Let's take a look at the women's, where the headline act this week is still the headline going into the weekend. Minjee Lee, the world number 20. You have to think she's going to be very hard to beat.
Yeah, former champion here as well, so she knows the layout pretty well. She won by 6 shots when she took the title. It was a commanding performance, but since then, she's gone on to win 3 times on the LPGA. She didn't win in 2017 on the LPGA, and that was the first year that she's been out there that she didn't get a win. So she's got a score to settle, and she's doing a pretty darn good job at the moment, isn't she?
She certainly is. What are her strengths as a player?
Her strength is definitely her ball striking. You know, talking to her coach, Richie Smith, throughout last year, he said if she has a good putting week, she'll win. If she doesn't have a good putting week, she'll finish in the top 30, and that's essentially what she did week in, week out last year. And so that's really important for her. And just, she saw the putts drop yesterday. She said it in a press conference after a round, and she was pretty happy to see those go in, so she got some confidence on the greens. One
player that we certainly can't disregard.
And, you know, all of the reasons for that came from last year. When they looked at who was actually watching the live stream last year, it was going global already, and then they thought, okay, people overseas want to see this event, let's take it to them. And absolutely all credit to the organisers, to all of the tours now involved. We've got 3 of them, so, you know, it takes a lot of people to come together, but it's hard to bring that many tours together and have it go smoothly, and this has purely just gone from strength to strength.
It really has, and there's so much to look forward to this afternoon. We'll be on air till the close of play. Whenever that is, you're going to see some absolute world-class golf, and we've already seen that so far this week on rounds 1 and 2 on Thursday and Friday. Let's take a look at highlights.
A warm welcome for all comers as the 2018 Oates Vic Open got underway at 13th Beach. Despite shouldering the load as the highest ranked player across both fields, 2014 winner Minjee Lee recorded a solid start with an opening round of 70, while another former champ was keen to carry her stunning form of the past season into the new year. Englishwoman Georgia Hall with 6 birdies and 3 bogeys to join Lee in finishing the day at 3 under par. Searching for her second win on the Ladies European Tour, Camilla Lenard attacked the Creek course and was rewarded. She'll begin Friday in outright third. But without a doubt, the story of the day was that of the late arrivals. Americans Beth Allen and Cheyenne Woods only narrowly made it to the tournament in time, having just competed in the Bahamas. Lack of practice, however, was no issue. Woods, the Nisa Tiger, carded 68, while veteran Allen went one better. Her opening round without blemish as she took the outright lead.
It's been kind of crazy because I only arrived yesterday morning, so I didn't have tons of expectations, which is usually good when you're playing golf. So yeah, I kind of just woke up and said, let's see what happens.
So I made some really good putts today, and just staying level-headed. You know, not the expectations, like you said, weren't necessarily there. I was just enjoying my day.
It's Beth Allen who sits atop the leaderboard at 6 under after round one. She's a stroke clear of countrywoman Woods, while Camilla Lenard is 4 under par. Georgia Hall, Minjee Lee and Kylie Henry sit in a tie for fourth, followed closely by Laura Davies at 2 under. Last year's winner Mel Reid struggled at times, finishing the day tied for 45th. It would prove to be the women, and the rush was on to make the first cut. China's Ziyu Lin got the ball rolling. Buoyed by last week's ALPG win in Ballarat, the 21-year-old shot 69 to go with yesterday's round of 1 under par. While Si-Han Lin was by far the best amateur, producing 8 birdies. Norway's Marianne Skarpnord looked at home throughout round 2, and well she might. The 13th Beach local only strengthened her hopes of another Vic Open Women's Championship. An important par on 18 will see her begin the weekend at 6 under. Leading after the opening day, American Beth Allen couldn't recapture the same form as bogeys littered her afternoon. Swedish duo Jenny Hagland and Caroline Headwall made a late run, both carding rounds of 69. Ultimately, though, the second round belonged to Australia's Minjee Lee. In a tie for fourth before the day started, Lee was quickly on the move. World number 20 required to save par on numerous occasions, this on the 9th a fine example. And when playing partner Skarpnord threatened to snatch the lead, Lee upped her game, closing out her final 5 holes with 3 birdies, ending the day with the clubhouse lead.
I love coming back here, so I had 2 good rounds under my belt, so hopefully I can have another good 2 rounds. I hold a couple more putts, but I did miss a couple more greens today, so I made it a little bit more up and downs today than yesterday.
At the halfway mark of the Women's Oates Vic Open, Minjee Lee leads the way by 3 shots. It's then a 4-way tie for second between Jenny Hagland, Caroline Headwall, amateur Si-Han Lin and Marianne Skarpnord. Ziyu Lin is 5 under par, while Australia's Stephanie Na is 2 shots further back, along with Georgia Hall.
Well, the aerial view of 13th Beach Golf Club. That's the 18th hole there. We've had so many magnificent finishes in this tournament. The grandstands gathered at the back there, the corporate tents where literally thousands will be gathered tomorrow afternoon to welcome the 2 champions, the men's and the women's champion for the 2018 Vic Open. And Ali, that's what we're here to try to find out. Who's going to win this championship? And we've already had a really close look at who's a big chance on this weekend. And there's already been quite a lot of play today in both sides of the field. Now let's take a look at the leaderboards as things stand.
Yeah, Minjee Lee out, 3 shots ahead, but it may as well be light years unless someone can make a charge today. And that's the reality when you've got the world number 20 as the person that you're trying to chase down. But plenty of quality behind her in some European superstars of Caroline Headwall, Georgia Hall, Marianne Skarpnord as well. So she's got plenty to come. She's got to keep pushing forward if she wants to have a cushy lead tomorrow.
Yeah.
I am with a fabulous young amateur, 17 years of age, Si-Han Lin from Chinese Taipei, or Taiwan, as we know it. Yeah, Taiwan. Now, this is your 3rd trip to Australia, and you are playing great. You're currently sitting at 6 under par, playing in the final group today.
I'm really excited to play with Minji today at the final group, and this is my third time playing Vic Open, and the course is very different from where I'm from. So I learned a lot from the past 2 years. I hope I can do well today.
Do you look at this as just experience going forward and get as much experience? Because you're terribly talented.
Yeah, I think it's a very good learning experience for me today and playing in this course in this condition.
Okay, now...
Well, plenty of golf happening here this afternoon. And this is the leaderboard as things stand in the Women's Championship. Minji Lee at 9 under. She leads by 3 from Lin Xiahan from Taiwan. Marianne Skarpnord and Carolyn Headwall, along with Jenny Hagland, also tied for second at 6 under par. And just drifting back down the leaderboard to Georgia Hall at 4 under, along with Lydia Hall from Wales at 3 under par. Well, the lady of the week, of the day, and of the moment is Minji Lee, the world number 20. And she's with Sandy McKenzie.
Thanks, Dottie, and I am with tournament leader Minji Lee. Minji, 9 under, first tournament of the year. You've come out of the blocks firing.
Yeah, no, I've had 2 pretty solid days, and hopefully I can carry it on into today.
Have you had a little bit of decent time off? Because we've been over the Christmas break. You've been home?
Yeah, I've been home for about 6 weeks, so it was a great break, and yeah, just got to spend a lot of time at home, so it was nice.
What sort of things do you do when you are at home? Like, do you put the clubs away, or is it just straight back in getting ready for the season?
I took about 3 weeks off prior, so I took a week off at home, and no, it was nice just to chill, and then I got back into training.
Now, I've noticed a big difference. You have a new caddy on the bag, Jason Gilroyd, very experienced caddy, Gilly as we all know him. How's that going so far? I know this is your first week.
Yeah, no, it's going great. He's a great caddy, and I mean, this is my first week, so yeah, so far so good.
Yeah, he's just on probation at the moment.
No, he's doing great.
All right, well, look, you're 9 under, you're 3 shots ahead, you're playing great, and we expect you to be right there at the end. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Yep, the 1:30 tee time, as you can see, just waiting for the fairways to clear.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the third round, the 2018 Oates Vic Open, our 1:30 tee time and final ladies group. First to the tee, after returning rounds of 140 in totals to be 6 under par from Norway and 13th Beach. Please welcome Marianne Skarpnord.
Has quite an upright stance, Mariana.
Also on a total of 140, 6 under par. Our leading amateur from Taiwan, please welcome Sihan Lin.
Really looking forward to seeing Sihan, or Heather as she's known in this part of the world. Looking forward to seeing her play. Nice fluid golf swing.
Yeah, just 17 years of age. Yeah, lovely technique there. Beautiful balance.
Final player in the group, and our tournament leader. On a total of 9 under par, 137. From Western Australia, please welcome Minji Lee.
there are a few better golf swings in world golf than this young lady, Ali.
Very true. And when they did a poll on the LPGA about 2 or 3 years ago of the best, who had the best golf swing on tour, nearly half the tour voted for Minjee Lee.
Interesting. Yeah, it's not surprising, and renowned for her striking. And as we mentioned in the opener, if she can get a rock rolling on the greens, she's going to be very, very difficult to beat this weekend.
It's nice to see her come back and supporting the events in Australia as well in the lead up to the Women's Australian Open. So of her later, and so right on cue, here she is. She did find the bunker and just trying to splash it out as far as possible to advance it. But it was just fun watching the little baby brother.
On Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, it looks as though Simon Hawkes now has at least a 2-shot lead. Obviously, he's safely in the clubhouse, and I think he's going to be quite happy about that, given the complexion this afternoon may, in fact, have. Lynn here with a really beautiful angle. Almost a textbook tee shot. Just trying to fade it in. Sounded like really nice contact. Nicely on, perhaps maybe just half a club short. But really anything on the dance floor, and 2 on this opening hole. Just straight back into the wind here on the beach course. You'd certainly take it.
Marianne Skarpnord, second. And nicely done for the Bellarine Peninsula local via Norway.
She is via Norway, but if you get the chance to have a chat with her, do so, because her accent is truly global. Every now and then she sounds like an Aussie, sometimes like a Norwegian.
And almost a little bit American at times too. There's all sorts of twangs there as Minjee plays her third. A little cut-off, knockdown wedge after hitting it into the bunker off the tee. And that's not the way she planned her opening hole here on Saturday.
And the new caddy on the bag. They're trying currently to, you know, create a new dynamic between the two of them. There's one thing to work together in practice and in the off season, but to actually go out and be in contention and then see how, you know, that working relationship holds up underneath that. That's a whole different story.
Yeah, just to find that connection, that sense of togetherness. Of, I mean, you know, in professional golf, you spend more time with your caddy than you do with your life partner, you know, wife or husband or girlfriend or boyfriend, and they better be a good person and good company, because that relationship's going to wear out pretty thin if they aren't.
Yeah, you mentioned, you know, the caddies and the life partners, and at one point in time this morning on the putting green, I walked on and I saw Pernilla Lindberg with her fiance Dan. I saw Rebecca Artis with her husband Jeff, and I walked over to them and I said, is this the couples section of the green? It's not often that you do that at an event, but it's pretty commonplace here at the Oates Vic Open.
Well, it's kind of hard to make it work unless if you're going to be out on tour, and if your partner doesn't travel with you or work with you, then you're probably not going to see that much of each other. So that's one way of getting around that problem. And certainly Jeff and Rebecca have been a pretty formidable team for a long time.
Yeah, and Rebecca also just getting her LPGA card this year, so it's going to be a good year going forward for those two, being able to schedule out their year. It's just makes such a big difference at the start of each season if you know where you're going.
the
Nice galleries gathered
Jinsey Han from Taiwan.
around this first green, and that is a bird's eye view, an eyewitness view even, of professional golf that you don't see very many parts of the world.
I think we're going to see the backs of a lot of spectators today, so bear with our fabulous cameramen out there because they're wading through a sea of spectators each hole. Lynn up the hill. It was a good read, just pace a little bit off, but it really is something that's so special about the Vic Open, that there are no ropes here. There is absolutely nothing between you and the action. Back up the hill a little bit here for Skarpnord. Not too much break in it. And she's been out practicing the last few weeks, obviously being a local here, but Swede Camilla Lennart also was staying with she and Richard for the last few days, and I believe there was a couple of challenges, we'll put them, out on a couple of the morning rounds. There was maybe some money or some snacks exchanging hands during that. Mind you, Camilla Lennart, a winner on tour in her own right on the Ladies European Tour, won the 2014 Slovakian Open.
Now Min Ji, long par putt on hole number 1. Oh, just slides by the low side. So it's a bogey 5 to start for our overnight leader.
When you look at Min Ji's record here, she won the event and then she missed the cut last year, so she's literally got a 1 next to her name and a 0 next to her name as well, but maybe that'll change this weekend.
I'd prefer that sort of form than finishing 25th every week, though. Making every cut and finish 25th, it's a darn sight more exciting.
You're a bit of an all or nothing kind of guy, aren't you?
And profitable, by the way, profitable too. It's really interesting in this game, Ali. A great year can come down to 1 week, and you know, just winning in this game changes so much, you know, for your career, for your life, for your finances, and there's a huge opportunity for someone here, particularly in this women's field, to change their life this week. Well, this is exactly one of those players, and Sehan Lin, Heather Lin, is to save par, just a little right to left in it. Just hung up, so nicely done for the teenager. There's plenty of great golf being played here in round 3 on the men's side of the draw. Nice little move from Harrison Endicott from New South Wales. He's moved up into a share of second place at 8 under par. He's 2 under par through 3 holes. As we mentioned, Kieran Muir, the Kiwi, out early this morning with a 7 under par round of 65. As we watch Marianne Skarpnord just closing out for her par 4. Not to mention the heroics of the Tasmanian Club Pro, Simon Hawkes, an 8 under par round of 64 to lead the Vic Open by 2 strokes at 10. Let's take a look at the leaderboards, both the men's and the women's championship. That's Minjee Lee. Hasn't been updated yet, but that bogey she had on the first, that will take her back to 8 under par. And there we see that updated there. She's a 2-stroke lead over Jenny Hagland. Caroline Headwall, Marianne Skarpnord and Lin Xiahan, or 6 under. Lin Chi Yu from China. She's at 5 under par. Georgia Hall, a nice start to her round. She's 4 under par and only...
I spent a lot of time on that green yesterday, and we'll go back to the second as we take a look at Marianne Skarpnord having a very close look at her lie in that front right bunker on the par 5. Very similar position to that of Nick Flanagan we saw just a few minutes earlier.
And often it can just come down to, because there's been a lot of balls in this bunker, just come down to what sort of lie you're able to draw here as well. You're in a little rake mark. Third shot for Skarpnord.
This might catch the ridge if she's lucky. Come on down. Nope, the price is wrong. Marianne Skarpnord on the second hole. That's going to be a devilishly fast putt down the hill, downwind coming up. Mum's out. Mama Lee, Minji and Min Woo's mother. Always keeping a pretty close eye. She played off single figures herself. Very good golfer.
Yeah, using the slope to advantage and beautifully there for Minji Lee.
One of the graduates of the Golf Australia pathway and now the rookie program as well. A fabulous program that they've put together here in Australia. The likes of Matt Cudler and Brad James, both kind of really creating it again from scratch and trying to work out how to best infiltrate and feed those younger players through the system, get their fundamentals sound at a very young age.
Yeah, it's a wonderful program. Certainly bred some great talent, particularly in men's golf at the moment. Watch the pitch shot there for Lin Xiahan, and that might go in. That is meticulous touch.
How good was that? Well, she missed the cut the last 2 attempts here at the Vic Open and did so quite convincingly. So I was talking to Marty Joyce, who we mentioned earlier, who's kind of taken the helm of the Swinging Skirts program, and I said, are we surprised to see her at the top of the leaderboard? Because her results don't necessarily show that, you know, she would be comfortable there. And he was not surprised at all. And he's quite a candid bloke that he would tell you otherwise. But he said, for whatever reason, she comes to Australia and she plays lights out. Just really seems to love it in this part of the world. And
being 17 years of age, it does take time to find your feet at this level of golf, and sometimes it's just one tournament where you find the key that turns the lock, and then you're off and running. And you know, certainly 17, you may not have the full self-belief, but you can certainly find it in 1 week out here on tour.
Yeah, most of the time that people that win, they say that they learned that they didn't have to play perfect golf, and that is a brilliant lesson if you can learn it through experience at the start of your career.
Now Marianne Skarpnord down the slope. This for a birdie 4. Very quick putt and a little conservative there by the Norwegian. Her partner Richard Green, former Australian Masters champion, also made the cut. Came into today at 2 under par. And is currently out there playing with Matt Steiger and Western Australia's Jared Felton.
Now just a little ball move here clearing the way, I should say, for Minjee Lee.
Ali, not a huge amount of age difference between these two young players. It's hard to believe that Minjee, how long she's been around for. She's still in her early 20s, but this young lady, she would be very nervous, and she'd be looking up to Minjee Lee today, and seeing this as one of the pinnacle moments of her golf career.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, at the moment in women's golf, we're lucky enough to have a couple of real trailblazers. You think of the Lydia Ko's and the Minjee Lees and Lexi Thompson and those kids that have been, you know, out on the golf course since they were kids, and now they're, you know, blossoming into incredible tour players. And yeah, just seeing her up close and personal, measuring her game next to her, it's invaluable experience.
Now, Ali, she spent a lot of time over that putt. I mean, and the longer she spent, the more it looked like she was never going to hold it. To me, it just kept looking, and you know, I think when you good putters, you see a certain instinctiveness about them, and they react to the feedback they're getting from the green, and they take action. And when you perhaps start doubting yourself a little bit as a putter, you just spend a lot more time over the ball and in analysing, and that sort of thing often happens.
I think the more fluidity, I guess, would be the word, and athleticism that you can have, particularly on those short putts. You need to be creative on the long putts when there's a lot of break involved, but that old kind of concept of, you know, ball hole and then react is very important.
This for a magnificent birdie 4 for the young Taiwanese player, and she moves to 7 under par.
You've got a card, haven't you? Cool. Yeah.
Well, it's all happening here on Saturday afternoon at the 2018 Oates Vic Open. In the Women's Championship, it's closed up at the top. Carolyn Headwell, she's made a birdie to move to 7 under and is just one back of Minjee Lee. Lin Ziyu from China has also moved up to 6 under par, and it's a real logjam there at third place. 4-way tie at 6 under. And then a big drop back to Caroline Lund from Norway, and Beth Allen from the USA. She's a 3 under par. 2 under par for the round. Out to the third hole, the par 3. Down hill and a slightly down breeze.
Yeah, pin today just tucked over that front right bunker. Now watch this bounce. I spent a lot of time watching golf balls on this hole yesterday, and anything past the centre half of that right part of the green will kick forward. So you're actually better off landing it in the junk at the back and having it bounce backward than you are, you know, hitting the green and seeing it bounce forward. So it really is a pretty tough equation today.
Well, where you don't want to be on this hole with that pin position is in that front bunker, because it makes for a pretty difficult up and down. A little unlucky break there for Lin Zihan, catching the downslope. Marianne Skarpnord. And she gets a good break. Just doesn't hang up, and that just keeps on coming. And that, Ali Whitaker, is what we call local knowledge.
That's how it's done. Maybe a couple of friends over the back willing to take the heat on the back edge of that green. Very daring spot there from the spectators. Little do they know that they're probably aiming straight at them from the tee.
Great camera angle to look at this beautifully balanced, athletic and flowing golf swing from Minjee Lee. And, well, hits a superior shot, gets a whole lot more spin on it, but doesn't get the result of using the cushion, so to speak, on this billiard table green. But a long breaking downhill putt for birdie for Minjee Lee. And let's take a look at some very good par threes at this golf course, Ali, and this is one of them.
Yeah, they really are a feature of this golf course. And, you know, you look at what lies between, and just think about a club golfer trying to carry all of that, you know, the heather and all of those bushes short of the green. Then you have that little collection area as well, short of those three bunkers guarding this green. The green rolls from back left to front right, and that pretty much bang on the hole location today. That front bunker, loads of sand in there. It's not a favourable place, but all three managing to avoid that here in our final women's group.
Yeah, wonderful galleries as always, following these world-class players as they plot their way around the beach course at 13th Beach. And Sandy McKenzie has been the disappearing act early in the round here on Saturday, but great to have her microphone working again. And Sandy, what's going on down there? Yeah, just a few technical issues with Sandra McKenzie.
It was the disappearing act. It came back.
She was, but yeah, we'll certainly catch up with Sandy before too long. Of course, a former professional golfer herself and a very experienced commentator in golf, both here in Australia and Asia. And wonderful to have her experience here this week for the Oates Vic Open.
I was talking to Sandy this morning and she said, all right, Ali, how many snakes have we seen so far this week? And I said, I think we've seen about 2 or 3. And the signs, the warning signs are out on the 10th tee as well as the first tee, saying beware snakes. So we've seen a few. And there is a very daring snake wrangler who gets quite a bit of work each year when the Oates Vic Open rolls around. So hopefully it's just technical issues and we haven't lost it to the bushlands, but send help if needed.
You can see just how unlucky Lynn has been here on this par 3. That ball just balancing on the precipice of rolling all the way back down the green. Just got caught up in that first cut. And it certainly doesn't happen very often in that position. She has very difficult job ahead of her here. Down the slope and then back up before gathering speed all the way down to the pin. And this would be a very good 2-putt.
Very, very nicely done. Pretty hard to leave that short, really.
Yep, absolutely. It's fearless kind of a putt.
Wind always blowing from left to right, so you'd think that would help you, you know, try and get some spin on the ball and then get towards this front right hole location. Only 6 paces on over that bunker today, but all 6 of those are launching the ball forward.
It's interesting to watch Minjee Lee and working very closely with her caddy on reading the putts. And that's something that you actually don't see from really good putters. Like, a lot of the time they'll have the caddy will wander around and have a look, and their opinion may be sought at various times. But great putters, like you think guys like Jordan Spieth, in particular, and I think back to guys like Ben Crenshaw and Bob Charles, going way back in the game, just trusted themselves. Minjee Lee coming down the slope, good speed, just sneaking by a few feet.
Putting's just such a confidence game. So when you look at the line and you see it, then there's no point bringing someone else in. But if that's part of your, your pre-shot routine, having that discussion, then that's a whole different animal, really.
Yeah, but I just feel a constant consultation about putting is reflective of someone who has uncertainties in their mind about their ability to read the putts and to execute, as well as a bit of a security blanket at times. Marianne Skarpnord, after using the rear of this green, she's got this for birdie down the slope, breaking from right to left. Well, very few people, I would say, Ali, who would have read that putt correctly, because that is, well, we saw Minjee Lee's putt just tail off from a very similar angle, and Marianne Skarpnord would know these greens like the back of her hand.
It's in a very cheeky part of the green, because if you miss it low, it breaks hard left, but then all of a sudden you see this straight putt appear on the top right edge. Hard to get your mind around which way to choose.
It's a great three. No mean feat to two-putt from that position. And a fairly nerveless start for the teenager from Taiwan.
Merely a formality left for Minjee Lee. And in it goes, so she remains at 8 under par. Currently still holds a 1-shot lead. Mind you, she started the day with a 3-shot lead.
Very interesting putting routine. See the shaft of the putter there for Marianne Skarpnord, very much on the same angle as her arms. Very good putter as well, one of her real strengths.
Same opinion, but this is back on the fairway on 4, so you get a really good look here. It is a long but narrow green in 3 sections. Really beautiful tee shot here from Heather Lynn. Opened up the whole location as much as she really could, but a very tough equation coming up for her just with this second. And it's not often you say that when you've got wedge in hand.
Yeah, it's true. And sort of golf, that sort of design and strategy, I think, that makes this game interesting. A bit of breeze, firm fairways, firm, fast greens, and really rewards people who are able to play for position off the tee and to control their spin and distance, particularly with their wedges.
Around about 80 metres left in. And it didn't seem to get a very good strike on that one from the get-go. So we know that that putt's not very easy.
Yeah, although she has shown impeccable touch so far here from what we've seen on our broadcast in round 3.
A little bit less for Skarpnord. At about 68 metres to the pin, but really only need to carry it, say, 64, given the way that it does release.
Well, she caught that thin and going all the way off the green. That will be a diabolically difficult birdie putt.
Yeah, put me down for 6 from there.
But perhaps, Ali, you know, demonstrative, if you like, of actually getting too close to the green. Yeah, not being able to take a full swing at it and get spin on it, and just creating greater difficulty by getting too close to the green off the tee.
Completely. I couldn't agree more. And, you know, when you've got really big tiers in play, and this genuinely, it's at least knee-high, maybe even almost waist-high, the rise from the front right to where the whole location is today. You need to be able to generate that spin. That wasn't well struck, but she might get away with it. It'll keep on moving for Minjee Lee.
Yeah, well, she caught that thin as well. And just trying to slide the club under on a half to 3/4 lob wedge. And down breeze into a tight pin, is unable to do it. So plenty of golf to be played on this hole for our final group in the Women's Championship.
Yep, thank you.
It's just a great example of what kind of pressure good golf course design can put on your game. Most, you know, people inside the world top 20 wouldn't even sniff it, you know, a 65-metre wedge shot, but then all of a sudden you look up, you see that the wind's off the left, the pin's on the left, and you've got very little green to work with, and it forces the error.
Well, the other thing too that that comes into play is ego, because when you're a professional golfer at this level, playing at the elite level of the game, you're not really thinking of anything other than getting it close, and you tend to, it's very easy to get a little bit greedy and to take on a low percentage shot because of the potential reward. And risk reward is a constant factor in professional golf. Understanding when to take a risk and when to be conservative is something that, you know, ensures longevity in the game.
And it's something that's really, in a way, ironed out by having these 2 layouts that you need to navigate on a week like this. You know, so many weeks on tour you go to golf courses that potentially aren't quite as well designed as others, and you see it produce a winner that doesn't necessarily win ever again. You know, those random players that come through, they have a good week, and the golf course just seems to set up well for them. But I just don't think that happens here. I genuinely think that this is the event, and also the 2 layouts in the 13th Beach Golf Links, that requires someone that has good golf course management. It has a good, strong mental side of the game, and then execution of that plan. And I think that's really important. You see that more in the good players.
We certainly do. Well, we believe that we have Sandy McKenzie back on the air again.
You may have tried to get rid of me, but it's not that easy. I'm sure there was a bit of sabotage involved there. So I finally caught up with my group after a few hiccups, and, well, good luck with getting this up and down in 2. Not much you could do with that one, Ali.
Yeah, it looks almost as though, Sandy, that they have to, from back there, almost ride the top lip of the bunker because there's such a strong slope on that right-hand side of the pin from the back edge, isn't there?
Well, it's really difficult because she was in the middle of the back of the green, and there's a huge slope there. Maybe going a little straighter would have taken a little bit of that out, but elected to go off the edge of the green.
Well, she couldn't have gone much higher there, I wouldn't have thought, on that break line, Sandy, from what we were seeing.
Would have been flirting with a little bit of danger there. Minji's got her problems as well because there's a huge mound in front of her, about 8-10 feet in front. It's going to shoot the ball left to right, but she's going to go over the top of it. Oh, that is pretty well done from where she was. She didn't have much of a shot.
Some creative stuff there from the West Australian. What is the saying? If you can't go around it, if you can't go under it, just go over it? Something like that?
Well, it'll do for us today anyway. If it hasn't been invented yet, we'll we've just created it.
Oh, we're all about inventing things here at the Oates Vic Open.
Yep.
The rule book is out the window.
Well, we thought this first shot was a little bit ordinary, sitting down on the lower level here, but it ended up being the much better position to come from. But it's a steep slope. Awful lot of breeze out here.
What do you see in this part, Sandy?
Well, it's going to be a lot about the pace. Coming up, it should go a little bit left to right. But it's going to be about putting the right pace on it coming up this step. It starts about a third of the way just in front of her. Gotta go. Now it's moving.
That's been a consistent theme on this green so far, Sandy. The previous group in the men's championship were unable to negotiate the speed or the break.
Yeah, well, there's a whole left to right swing on this green, so just trying to get it right with the severe undulations. It's a tough gig.
Yet to really see anyone try and make a move on this hole, given that it's just 321 metres long. Yet to see a makeable birdie putt, really. This for par for Skarpnord to stay at 6 under.
Oh, that was bold. It's a really tough pin position to get close to downwind with a short shot.
There's a few of those pin positions out there, and perhaps the get out of jail free card from Monopoly played there for Marianne Skarpnord.
Well, this young lady's been very solid on the greens so far here in round 3.
Wouldn't be a bad putt, this one, to be a little bit bold on. She's actually coming uphill on this putt, and it'll hold its line a lot better if it's a little bit firmer, but you've got to make sure you've got your line. Oh, well done. I haven't seen much of this young lady play, but it's fairly impressive.
She's played in various professional events around the world. Played the last few years in the event on the LPGA in Chinese Taipei, now named the Swinging Skirts. Of course, she is part of the Swinging Skirts Foundation, but she was actually the second best amateur last year at the Women's Australian Open. Runner-up to He-Jin Choi, who happens to now be the world number 11. So she was in tough company, but it is nice to get to know these players at the start of their careers.
Well, woes on the greens continuing for Minji Lee, and her reputation as being a somewhat balky putter at times being confirmed here so far in round 3.
I don't think the hole locations are making it easy on her.
there's lots of activity happening around you, and you know, these are things that you actually don't anticipate. As we head out to number 5, and this looks like an unplayable for the Taiwanese player. That is a nasty looking position off the tee, and some trouble ahead for Lin Zihan.
That was in the tree. That was literally almost a yard off the ground there. Hard to know how it stayed up there, but that is definitely left. So had a bit of a nightmare off the tee here.
Sandy, that looked like a horrible, horrible position off the tee.
Yeah, it was a shocker. She turned it over a little bit. We're very lucky there was a couple of spectators here because they actually saw it. It was up in the vines about, 3 feet or so off the ground. So certainly unplayable.
They did one shot penalty.
Yeah, and just learning the rules as well. Been quite an experience. But not so bad now. Ball's just a little bit below her feet, but she's just going to have to get this back out on the fairway for a third.
But a restricted backswing as well, Sandy?
Yeah, we'll have a look at that because she will have to probably, I think that's going to come into play, that big branch. Got to be very careful here too because there's a lot of big tree roots. Looks like there's nothing under it, but we've seen that before.
And what's the breeze doing here? They're playing back into it?
Right into the teeth of it, and I wouldn't even call it a breeze. I think we'll upgrade that to very strong wind.
There's a wonderful image coming up for you, Sandy, in about sort of 200 or 300 metres time. It's of the Moona trees on this hole, which are growing horizontally down there near the green and near the tee of the following hole.
I can see them.
Yeah, just
in the distance.
Basically showing just how hard the wind blows here on this very exposed section.
I tell you what, this is going to be fairly adventurous, pulling the wood out. Ball's well below her feet. It's sitting down. Oh, what a cracking shot that is. Turned it over. She's got to miss those bunkers. Oh, it's not going to either. Came out really well. That was impressive.
Translation, Grant? Got anything for us?
I'm having a good time. That was your fault. You're my caddy. It has to be someone's fault. It's not mine.
Nice yardage. Certainly came hot off that club face. And Minjee Lee seems to be over in that tufty section on the left.
Well, Sandy, that's 2 serious blows back into the breeze there for Minjee Lee.
I think that's really impressive, that, because she really made great contact on that shot. Marianne Skarpnord is in exactly the same yardage. So many people here, I can't even find the dots to give you a yardage. Again, good contact, ball going low, just a little right to left, but it's going to be in really good shape.
No worries at all there for Skarpnord.
This golf hole is like her front yard. That's one of her. It's her house just over there, to the left of our screen, and I can imagine that she's been out there practicing putting and chipping more than once in her time in Australia.
Oh, definitely. And she, in past years, I remember Marianne telling stories about the house when there was a lot of rain, and I believe someone left the window open. Either someone left the window open or it leaked, and the whole house was flooded, and they had to rip up the carpet and everything like that. So it's just the rugged part of Australia, isn't it? Down here on the coastline, of course, where we are, the Bellarine Peninsula, for those of you that know Melbourne. Melbourne's at the top of a U-shaped bay, and then the Bellarine is out on the rugged lower left southwest coastline of this part of the world. And Bells Beach, just about a 20-minute beautiful corner of the world.
Well, that's the leaderboard of the 2018 Oates Vic Open. In the women's side of the draw, Carolyn Headwell and Zahan and Minjee Lee all at 7 under. That's likely to change pretty soon for Lynn Zahan. Carolyn Headwell, we'll catch up with her a little later in the broadcast. Going along very nicely in the difficult afternoon conditions. Marianne Skarpnord is at even par, 6 under. Then Zi Yu from China at 5. And some nice golf being played in the second page there. Cheyenne Woods from the USA, former winner in Australia back in 2014 at Royal Pines. She's at 4 under for the day, making a big move into a tie for 11th, along with Lydia Hall, Karis Davison, Inchi Mehmet, and Sarah Kemp from Australia at 2 under.
Welcome to the new season of the Ladies European Tour, and where better to kick off than the sunny south coast of Australia. We're just outside the bustling cosmopolitan city of Melbourne at the 13th Beach Golf Links for a truly unique event, the Oates Vic Open. The men and women share 2 courses, going out in alternate groups, equal billing and equal prize money. Beth Allen was in town and back to her best on the opening day. The 2016 Order of Merit winner led by 1 before dropping back. Marianne Skarpnord won this event back in 2015 at the course she now calls home, living with partner Richard Green overlooking the fairways. At 6 under, she was in a 4-way tie for second, but it was another former champion, Minjee Lee, out ahead, some 3 clear. While things were all Minjee Lee looks on track to pick up her second title, but few know the course better than Skarpnord. Solheim Cup star Caroline Headwell was also well placed. Trouble on the par 5.
Marianne Skarpnord putting down the slope on 5 for birdie. Back into the breeze on the par 5. An impressive 4 for the Norwegian. Now Minjee Lee, after 2 hefty blows just short of this par 5, has this for a birdie 4 also. That gets her third round headed in the right direction. So as things stand, that birdie takes Minjee Lee back to the top of the leaderboard at 8 under. A 1-stroke lead over Carolyn Headwell and Marianne Skarpnord at 7 under. Lynn Zahan from Taiwan, she's at 6 under. 2 players at 5 under. Caroline Lund, Beth Allen, both at 3 under par. And a real logjam there for 7th place, along with Hannah Green, young Australian, who's 1 under par for the round. Karis Davidson, she's at 3 under for the round, and Georgia Hall at even. Cheyenne Woods playing very nicely. She's at 4 under par and 2 under in total, and has moved up into a tie for 13th place. Interesting to do at 23 to have a full card to play on an overseas tour. Coming into this event in great form. Played really well in the Australian Open last year, and he's certainly primed to win the biggest championship of his career.
Looked a little bit late with her hands then, Skarpnord, and that usually for her means it's out to the right. That's exactly the case.
It's a really tricky shot though when you're a right-hander here, Ali, with the wind coming straight at your back, and it's the hardest shot for every right-hander, because just you want to try to hold the ball up against it, but so many times you double cross it and pull it, or right shoulder comes up and you block it a little bit. It's a tough one, Sandy, and no doubt a shot that you would have had trouble with in your career as well.
Especially being a high ball flight left to right, I had no chance. This is 120 out for Minji. Trying to keep this left, but she hasn't. Again, it's hanging to the right, but gets it up just onto the edge of that ridge. There's quite a ridge runs through. It looks like it's feeding its way back down.
Not a bad place to be. In general, I think there's a few players that would take that approach shot and run safely on. Seems to be a fairly decent drive. A lot of players have a tendency to take, say, hybrid or 3-wood off this tee just to lay back of the narrowing down around the 220 off the tee. But it doesn't look as though our young amateur from Chinese Taipei
has no fear, Ali.
Yeah.
She's only got 80 to the front of the green. The wind is helping, but it's blowing strongly left to right, so makes it very awkward. You've got to keep it fairly well left here. Of course, the pin is over on that left-hand side, so it does make it a little tough. You nearly need to aim it just off the edge of this green. Strong breeze, so it's just under 100 yards to the flag. Got that very soft, it's got to move.
Yeah, it gives herself a birdie opportunity, but an outside chance there for the young lady from Taiwanese. Well, it's a beautiful part of the world, surrounded by water. Mel Reid, Georgia Hall and Marianne Skarpnord got a look at it this week.
With the vast beauty of Geelong Harbour as their backdrop, a trio of 13th Beach champions gather for a reunion of sorts. With their names on the honour roll at the Oates Vic Open, 2015 winner Marianne Skarpnord, 2016 victor Georgia Hall and defending champ Mel Reid have succeeded where most have faltered. Returning this year, they'll vie for $650,000. With this, the opening event of the 2018 Ladies European Tour to be broadcast worldwide. But for today at least, some time away from the course, venturing onto the harbour for a sail and to reflect on a tournament they've made their own.
It's always great to come back here, and I've got a lot of good memories, and you know, I really love links golf.
Obviously it was special to win here last year. I've always wanted to win in Australia. My mum absolutely loved Australia, so that was a little bit more of an incentive as well last year.
I like it because it's so chilled. You can go anywhere around here. The people are so friendly.
Yeah, it'll be fun. You know, I've not been on a boat in a while, so yeah, hopefully I don't fall off or anything stupid like that, which is pretty clumsy, so.
Flipping it over.
That's your fault, that Skarpy. Norwegian driving.
I had a fantastic year last year, but I've kind of forgot about that now. It's made me a bit more confident, but I've got to start the year kind of starting again.
It's the best field we've ever had. So I'll be very happy if I can finish top 5.
I just love coming to Australia. I feel very at home here. You know, the Australians have always made me feel very welcome, and it kind of puts me in a good frame of mind leading into the season. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it when it was like tipping and stuff. So yeah, it's just, like you said, something different. It was good.
With such a high calibre field assembled, the 2018 Oates Vic Open could prove to be a titanic struggle.
Now, 3 former champions, including this lady from Norway, Marianne Skarpnord.
Almost needing to chase it up, the deliberate chunk and run from the front right bunker there on the 6th hole. Was always going to be a pretty tough equation. Looks as though it might have just rolled back down the ridge as well. So just a couple of moments ago. But these are live pictures of the drama that's unfolding here at 13th Beach Golf Links. At about 200 metres from the water's edge right now.
Such an awkward little plateau to get onto here on this left, just on the top of the ridge with wind blowing away. So everybody's got this ridge up and over. It's got some pace on it.
When you look at a couple of the greens that are tricky on this beach course, you know, you look at the fourth hole, and the lead groups really struggled there. And I think 6 is another one where you really need to get the measure pace-wise, less so with the amount of break involved. But anything inside 2 feet for a par putt is going to be well received.
Marianne has her issues here. Of course, this is for par, and it's not the place to be, sitting at the bottom of this ridge. And she's just seen the first putt go flying on by, so it's all about the pace. The ridge starts virtually just in front of a ball.
It's going to be a drop shot for Marianne Skarpnord, giving back that birdie she just picked up at the 5th, straight back here at 6.
Well, Minjee has just watched one go flying past, and the next one was short, which is often happens when somebody's got a little hot. So she's had a good look at what the pace will do up this ridge. Coming from a very similar spot, so should have got a good read. Oh, just not enough legs.
What an impressive player she's become. She was always good, but 3 wins on the LPGA since her victory here at the 2014 Oates Vic Open at this very venue. 21-year-old Minjee Lee.
I think Ali too, for a while there, Minjee put a lot of low rounds together, but she just couldn't string 4 rounds together. There was always that one that was a bit of an Achilles heel, but she has started sort of sorting that out a lot in the last 12 months or so.
Yeah, well, when you look at her stats, 43 of her 93 rounds in 2017 were in the 60s. So she did it often, but maybe just not quite at the right moments.
That's the way to do it. Bold, aggressive, good 2-putt.
The fearlessness you can have as a 17-year-old, Sandy.
Yeah, that leaves you eventually, doesn't it?
when the hole looks like a laundry bucket. So a bogey putt for Marianne Skarpnord, cancelling out that birdie she made on the par 5. So a very up and down day for our leaders in the final group, and still anyone's championship in this Oates Vic Open. Minjee Lee, she's out in front once again at 8 under. Skarpnord at 7, but that will be updated and she'll drop down to 6. Lin Tsiahan is at 6 under, and then it's even tighter as we go down from 5 to 3 under. Names like Beth Allen, Carolyn Hedwell, Jenny Hagland. Welcome back. to this beautiful par 3, short 7th hole.
Uh-oh. It needs to find the surface, and I think it might have just gone off the left side. Gosh, it's hard to tell from here.
Now, Ali, you described this as one of your favourite par 3s in the world.
It is. I genuinely think that this is one of the best short par 3s in the world, and I'll explain myself, because it is 105 metres long in general, but the wind can be off the right, the wind can be off the left, it can be downwind or into the wind. You could hit a sand wedge or a 7-iron, and the landing area is genuinely, I'd say, maybe around about 20 feet in diameter on the middle of the green. So drop off down to the right side, drop off severely down on the left, and then a bunker in the back as well. It truly is heart in mouth golf. Well, it's not often you say that with a wedge in hand.
Beautiful looking swing, lovely balance. Balance and acceleration there from Lin Sehan.
You see not a lot of leg bend from the waist for Skarpnord. Their weight generally quite back in her heels. That's okay. Anywhere on the dance floor you'd take, because this hole has taken its own fair share of prisoners, really, because you never really leave it.
And when you miss the green on this hole, it's really difficult to get up and down. This is the Hugh Lin on number 8. What a putt from the Chinese player on this par 4.
Yeah, from Guangzhou, multiple winner on the Ladies European Tour. Picked up a win last week, did Hugh Lin, also known as Janet, on the Ladies European Tour. She won the Ballarat Ladies Pro-Am last week, so she's in form in a playoff over Lydia Hall. Hall, coincidentally, also inside the top 15 at the moment.
Well, Sandy, what is happening here, and what sort of options does she have at her disposal?
Well, she's been a little bit lucky here. Ball is just hung up. She's got room to put her feet. So we're just got to be a little bit cautious with it, but it's not laying that bad. Plenty of room to work with, of course, because it's all uphill. Pin's a long way back. Just stabs that through. Got to get it running. It's going to come up a little bit shy.
Well, really a little bit lucky in a way, these lead groups, that they have the wind predominantly coming into them, because it does make the equation a little bit easier when it's coming off the right, off the beach. All of a sudden, you know, the green that is, say, 30 to 35 feet wide turns into about 8 feet wide.
And this one's particularly narrow, Ali. It's not very far across there, so but there's an awful lot of hang time on those tee shots.
I prefer hang time when it's going to drop down onto the green or near the green, down that left side where you can see a lot of those spectators there. It's around about a probably 15 to 20 foot drop all the way down the hill.
Marianne Skarpnord coming from a much better position, just directly in line, uphill all the way. Would have got a bit of an indication on the run of it from Minji's ball. Much better pace on that one. Oh, needs to slow down, a little bit too hot. Makes the next putt fairly tricky. That is coming downhill, downwind.
quite an affable character, Marianne Skarpnord. She's got a very dry, ripping sense of humour, but she does every now and then let you know how she's feeling on the golf course.
Golf does that to you.
It is a polarising sport.
Now, can one of these players get the pace right? She's had a good look at the other two coming up the screen. Did not help at all.
And what a difference just a little change in conditions can make. I remember watching the lead groups play into this hole to a similar hole location last year, and all of the crowd was around the back of the green, and little did they know that they were right in the firing position, and all of a sudden that was the place to be. But short is certainly the plan here, putting back up that slope.
Once again, in these short putts, we can see Minjee Lee really working hard with a caddy. Great camera angle here coming up for this putt from Marianne Skarpnord. Very exposed green, and the decision the player has to make is whether you take the wind into consideration as well. Now this for par. One of the advantages of being multilingual is that you can often say things in another language that viewers aren't going to understand.
I'm thinking, she said, I should have ducked in and got that sandwich from home when I had the chance. Just 2 holes earlier, lives on the 5th hole here on the beach course. You know, and interestingly enough, when it was open back in 2001, it was part of, you know, the whole goal was to make a residential golf course. But it's amazing how little it actually comes into play, because you are tucked away in this little section of Barwon Heads and 13th Beach where it feels relatively untouched, so you don't really, you know, see the houses that much.
Another putt missed for Minjee Lee.
She had a few of those that have hit the rim too as well, trying to be, you know, a little firm with them, just not quite getting the line.
She had that total horseshoe back on the 4th hole, almost like a ball return. You have a little quiet word with that putter, I think, Minjee.
Yeah, it's a very good 3. I mean, it's a short little hole, this, but it is no snack with this breeze.
She's hanging in there nicely.
She's very impressive, Ali. I think I'm going to start calling her Heather No Fear.
It's a catchy little nickname.
Now, bogey putt for Marianne Skarpnord, and that's back-to-back bogeys for the Norwegian, who can claim local status here in Australia as well. We mentioned many times, but that's not the direction she wants to be going here on moving day. That's the wrong direction, so she'll drop back to 5 under, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Minjee Lee, well, she also made bogey, so that's the updated leaderboard. Minjee Lee 2 over for the round, 7 under, and a 1-stroke lead over Lin Zehan, is just playing steadily. She's at 6 under. Lin Ziyu from China, after that birdie, moves to 5 under. It's a packed leaderboard in the Women's Championship. Hannah Green from Australia, 1 under par. She's 3 under for the championship. Well, he's an impressive young man in all ways, Anthony Quayle, as we head out onto the course.
And Zihan Lin just missing that out to the right. So that is going to be a bit of a roller coaster coming up for the 17-year-old. Just off the right back edge, pinned to date on the front left. So use your imagination. Minjee Lee now.
Just 94, Minjee coming in. She's got to bring it in over the bunker, though. Straight back into the teeth of the breeze again. Just coming out of the light rough, although the ball's laying pretty good.
Able to use the backboard behind this whole location.
Punching that in fairly solid. Just turning it over, though, right to left. Go.
Oh, it just carried, but it's fallen off the left-hand side down into the first cut of rough. So it's going to be near the right section, but pretty tricky downhill chip coming up from the Perth local.
And for viewers who've joined us in the last hour or so, may not know that it's a very talented family. The Lee family, Minjee, and her brother, who's the Minwoo Lee, who's the was the reigning US junior champion. So extreme golfing talent running in the veins of the Lees from Perth.
Yeah, it's not often that you can say that both of the children in a family have picked up US amateur titles, but it's certainly the case with Minjee and Minwoo.
The third shot for Marianne Skarpnord, coming back right onto the flag. Well, good recovery, but she just had a horrible lie in the rough before.
So a chance perhaps to make amends with the 8th hole for the Norwegian. Her partner, Richard Green. They were the 2 winners simultaneously back in 2015. It was a fairy tale ending as she watched on, and Richard took home the men's trophy, and that was also the week that he ended up with an albatross, one of the short par 4s here as well, so could barely have written a better script. But they actually share a caddy, Mikey Curry, who's an Englishman who has caddied for Marianne over the last couple of seasons on and off. He's now been on the bag for Richard Green for some of the events in Australia, so it's certainly a family affair.
Yeah, Richard has had a great career on the European tour for a long time, but has lost his status over there now in his mid to late 40s, and you've got that period of time in your career where you're kind of in no man's land with nowhere to play and just trying to count down the days and the months and the years till you turn 50 and can get out there to the seniors tour, and it can be a tricky time in a professional golfer's career.
Speaking of tricky times in, well, not a professional golfer's career, an amateur golfer's career, I'm not liking the look of this putt coming up.
Well, I guess the question is whether she's going to putt or chip this. It might be worth going down to Sandy McKenzie to give us some thoughts on that.
Well, this is just an absolute horror place to be. Humps and hollows and ridges, and it's downhill, and good luck getting this close.
And by my calculation, she's going to have to go all the way almost to the edge of the green and then bring it back around, because it will break severely left.
Stop though, Ali.
Yeah, look at that.
That was just such a hard shot to try and judge.
And of course, what she couldn't afford to do there, Sandy, was to leave it on top of the ridge and leave herself a straight downhill putt. She's decided discretion as the better part of valour, but it sets up a very challenging par putt.
Minji's got an awkward little one here as well. She's just run off the edge of the green, so it's uphill, but there's quite a spine runs through it, and then up on the spine and down the other side. It's downhill all the way. Just floats that up. Now it's got to go. Oh, this could be good. It's not quite enough. It was such a fine line between a good shot and a bad result there.
And she's left herself a downhill putt as well to come. So
and plenty of length as well.
That's not going to be an easy par save for Minjee Lee.
Now the next player to go, I think, is going to be Marianne Skarpnord, is it? Who is really struggling at this point.
Sandy, it must be difficult out there, because I'm looking at the leaderboard on my screen, and I guess the first page of the leaderboard, and there's only 2 players in the top 10 players on my screen that are actually under par for the day. Everyone else is over par.
I think it's been a combination of 2 things. One, we do have a lot of wind around today. I mean, it's a links course. We get a lot of wind off the ocean, but the pin placement, the locations are pretty interesting. So they've made it very awkward as far as the location of the pins go, and sometimes it's really hard to get to them or to get close to them. You've got to be just spot on or have an awful lot of luck.
Interesting, one of the great golfing euphemisms, Sandy.
Thanks, Dottie. Well, at least this one's uphill. Oh, nice and bold, just didn't quite have the line. But they're struggling a little bit out here. It is really tough. I mean, I think the pin placements have a lot to do with it today. They're very awkward.
Well, there aren't that many friendly hole locations on this hole either. This is
that's very true,
this is meant to be a kind one.
It's hard to have a kind one.
And I don't think things are going to get that much easier on the back 9 either. They had a little bit bigger greens complexes at least to come.
I mean, this is a really difficult par putt for Minjee. I mean, she's coming down the slope again. She's got plenty of distance in it, and it should be moving pretty well left to right. I mean, it's a hard putt to get right. And she won't be putting with a great deal of confidence because she has lipped out and horseshoed on a number of occasions, so nothing's really gone her way today. This one's coming around nicely, though. Well done. That is a really good putt. Might be just what she needs to get the wheels rolling.
Yeah, that was a tough par putt, downhill, across the slope, exposed green, and made that one look easy. And you're right, that may just buoy her confidence a little. Well, Sandy, I think it goes without saying, Marianne Skarpnord really needs to stop the bleeding right here.
Yeah, she just all of a sudden hit a patch where there's just bogey after bogey. And this is for par. She just really desperately needs to hold this, or can certainly change your mindset. It can go one way or the other when you start missing these. Oh, and again, so, you know, what is that, the third drop shot?
But you know, again, Sandy, my observation there was that she stood over that putt for a lot longer than she normally does. I mean, she just looked like kind of frozen in motion there, and just
doesn't
really
look to be putted with a great deal of confidence. Second guessing herself. I mean, they're very undulating, but I mean, mind you, if anybody should know these greens, down should be. No door, but it's okay.
Yes, that's a bogey 5. And another player going backwards. So Zihan Lin back to 5 under.
The leaders are moving in the wrong direction, and all the wind out of their sails at the moment. A good par save for Minjee Lee, but not so much for Marianne Skarpnord and Zihan Lin.
You right? Yep. You right?
Well, the golf course, I think it's fair to say, is winning this afternoon here at 13th Beach in the 2018 Oates Vic Open. On the women's side of the draw, it's Minjee Lee. She's 2 over, but she's still out in the front of this championship. 2-stroke lead over Jenny Haglund, who by default at 1 over pars jumped up into 2nd place, along with Zihan Lin. Farris Davison from Australia, 4 under. That's a big move here in round 3. ZU, Marianne Skarpnord at 4. Beth Allen, what a tournament she's having. A 67 in the first round, 78 in the second round. Just grinding her way forward here on Saturday. She's 2 under par for the day. She's 3 under, and she's in the top 10.
That changes the complexion, and you can see Marianne Skarpnord back on the fairway here. And is laid up short of that bunker on the left. A smart play. In previous years, this is played as both a par 4 and a par 5 historically. And it goes up to a 3-section green as well. Pin today in that back right section. A huge swale down that front right part of the green.
Well, Minjee's just put hers over on this left-hand side. Just turned it over fractionally with that breeze coming behind and from their right. 150 to the flag. Problem is, Ali, working out where you're going to land it down there.
So true, almost with that spine running through the green, separating the front half, and it really is quite severe.
Big tail breeze. She's going with the 6-iron. That's tail breeze. She's still got to leave this a little bit out to the right. It's pushing right to left. Great crowds out here. This is so much fun with these galleries, walking down the fairway with the players.
Meeting some pretty entertaining characters while you're walking those fairways, I'm sure, Sandy.
I've had some wonderful chats out here. It's very distracting, really.
I think that's called the Vic Open After Dark, when we catch up about maybe some of those stories later on.
Minjee has just decided to flip it down 1 to a 7.
And you can't see the majority of this green either, with being set down almost in a little amphitheatre.
Slightly heavy contact. It's well out to the right. It needs the right bounces. Go on, get up. That's a pretty good result.
Pretty good indeed on the right section. And a birdie putt to come for Australia's best female golfer.
Now to our young 17-year-old who does have no fear, but possibly should have eased back a little bit there. She's found herself in this very deep bunker. She's just going to have to get it out. It's just too close to the front. Contact's okay, just plays it back to the fairway. Oops, no, it's had a little kick and it's in the rough, but not too bad.
It's interesting, off the tee, really, you can be in the rough on the right-hand side, but any of those bunkers, and automatically the hole turns into a 3-shot one.
Well, the Oates Victorian Open is a very unique event, as we've mentioned many times. Let's hear what the players think about it.
go across and pick you up there.
It's different than any professional event that we ever play, and I think that a lot of tours could learn from this format because it brings so many different fans to come and appreciate not only the men's game but the women's game as well. So from a player's point of view, I love it. I love being alongside the men, and I think from a fan's perspective, it's nice to be able to get the best of both worlds.
We don't play another event like
that we are playing with the men at the same venue, alternating tee times, but even more special that we have equal prize fund, which is obviously something that is in the news at the moment, and Vic Golf does a great job with that, and Oates is a really good sponsor. So I think that this event could really inspire others, and that's what I'm hoping. So hopefully we'll see more things like this in the future.
The combined event has already written some special stories. Marianne Skarpnord famously picked up the title in 2015 before watching on as partner Richard Green won the men's. While this year sees families sharing the limelight, Australian #1 Minjee Lee, another former winner, was teeing it up while brother Min Woo Lee, ranked 15th in the world amateur rankings, was also in the field. And there is also a husband and wife combination, with 2013 winner Stacey Keating allowing her caddy husband Darren loose with the clubs.
We usually see you on Stacey's bag. How did it feel for her to be watching you today?
Quite nerve-wracking actually. I felt fine out there until she turned up. So no, it's great. No, it's been really fun. Yeah, it's good to see her out there. I was thinking about her, and I hope she was thinking about me.
There's a few couples here this week, so it's kind of neat. But I don't know if there's any with the same surname. So it's it's fun.
Also great for women's golf to have equal prize money. It must mean a lot to you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I hope that that's the way we're headed. You know, obviously in other sports they're trying. You know, there's a big push for that at the minute. So hopefully it's going that way, and it's a big start here in Victoria. Yeah.
Back to live action, and this is the third shot after coming out of the bunker of Sihan Lin.
And look at that launch forward. Nice to take a moment just to reflect on a couple of the stories. You know, we've mentioned the couples, the caddy wife combinations, the brothers and sisters, and we talk about how a bit of a momentum change for him and a decent day at the office.
Back to 9, this amphitheatre green, great galleries gathered around, and Sandy McKenzie, if you had a chance to take a look at these putts.
Yeah, you don't really want any of them. Yeah, got a little bit of slope on this one, going left to right. It's going to go downhill a little bit, but a long way from home. I mean, with these, nobody's really given themselves any chances for birdies today, and that's a big issue. They're just leaving themselves way too far away from the hole, and it's a bit of a struggle to two-putt in these greens.
Yeah, it's tough when the equation becomes two-putting instead of trying to make birdies.
Yeah, nice try though, but you know, realistically they're not birdie chances, so I think that's where we're seeing today our scores are, some of the players are going in vastly different directions.
It's pretty hard to tell, we have to say, looking at the monitor, and that's why your input's so invaluable, Sandy, that it's hard to get the measure of how much the wind is wreaking havoc on the players and how that translates into longer putts on the greens, more difficult putts from different sections of the greens.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference, Ali. It is quite strong out here and it's blowing, and a lot of these greens are very exposed, and there's not a lot of flat spots on any of these greens. I mean, I'm looking around thinking, oh, where would you find a flat spot? And so it makes putting very difficult when you're always, every putt, and you're long range and you're dealing with a lot of undulation and sometimes, you know, 2 or 3 different lots of undulation within one putt. doesn't instill a great deal of confidence.
They don't feel that makeable all of a sudden. Perhaps this one may be one of the more makeable chances for Minjee Lee.
See how gently she just let that slide. Oh, just slides on by, but again, very quick putt. Pretty good job, though.
It truly is incredible how simply even the wind direction, rather than the actual strength of the wind, can play a real factor in how scoreable certain holes are. All of a sudden, you know, a hole you had a wedge into one day, you've got a 6 or a 7 iron into it with a right to left breeze. So it is a movable feast, really, on this golf course.
It's a real combination. Now, Marianne Skarpnord really needs this badly, because this is adding to that run of bogeys. This for par. Nope. There's another one. It is a day that she would like to forget, but unfortunately she's still got another 9 holes to go.
And she's very firmly on the bogey train at the moment, and that's a train you want to get off at the next station, because it's a bad place to be, and the fairways start looking narrower and the hole starts looking a whole lot smaller.
That's only a short walk home for Marianne as well. So
she might feel like she wants to do that right now.
Oh, keep her on the golf course, Sandy. Wrangle her for us.
I'll rugby tackle her if she goes anywhere.
That a girl. Well, at least onward to 10, a short par 4, but that doesn't always mean that it's going to be easy here on the beach course. So try and take shelter when you can, I guess, in these tough conditions. At least the sky's blue. We've got that.
In round 3 at 13th Beach. It's Minjee Lee in the Women's Championship. She's now 3 in front, despite being 2 over par for the front 9. That just underlying how challenging the golf course is this afternoon. Karis Davison, what a move. Round 3, 4 under par and 4 under par for the day, and that has leapfrogged most of the field this afternoon. Jenny Hagland, Sia Hyun Lin at 4 under par. They're all 3 back. Beth Allen is now up into a tie for 5th at 3 under, along with Hannah Green, Lin Ziyu and Carolyn Headwell.
The scores that are shooting up the scoreboard today, that 64 from Simon Hawkes, and you know, Stephen Jeffress currently 6 under par, which is really 9 under par in the old language at the moment, given the conditions out there this afternoon. You know, Karis Davison, she's 5 under par. As we take a look at the final group on the 10th hole and their approaches, and it looks as though a young Taiwanese amateur might have found herself in the bunker. So it's going to be Marianne Skarpnord to play next. Hole location over on the front left section today, so anything in the middle part of the green will kick left down toward the pin, but you cannot be left of this flag today.
She's given herself a chance, anyway, to get off that bogey train. 4 in a row for Marianne Skarpnord in the battle of partners and former champions. Her partner, Richard Green, he had a round of 73 today. He's +1 for the championship.
Now, Minjee's in the bunker here on the left-hand side, just 88. It's good flight. Wind's got it. Has it got enough? Oh, look at the spin. Take that back off. This wind, because we're a terribly exposed part of the golf course now, and it just played havoc with the tee shots.
You're almost over on the salt flats over there on the 10th hole, over toward the left of the 10th fairway.
To just enjoy his time in the sun out in the front of this championship. What a day for the relatively, well, he is, let's just say, he is an unknown 29-year-old from Tasmania, and one of the great things about this great game of golf.
Especially any kind of round in the low 60s today. That's going to put you in good stead going into the final round. Now, this shot coming up for Zihan Lin, potentially not the most friendly. I speak from experience that the bunker isn't that great, is it, Sandy?
You think so, Ali? This is a 2-bunker carry, and then straight after that she's going to hit quite a severe downslope, and it is going to go like a bullet off that. So she'll need to throw this a fairly long way, but get it to stop. But I think if she lands this too short after getting up past the 2 bunkers, she hits a really severe downslope.
Yeah, it looks as though it's going to be Skarpnord to play first.
That's a pretty good result because she had quite a little mound to contend with there, so gives herself a chance to break the bogey train.
And now Zihan Lin.
Needs plenty of carry. It hits the downslope now. Do you know that's a pretty good result considering she hit that downslope? She only just got it over, and that ended up much better than it could have.
I couldn't agree more. That drop off just behind Minjee Lee, where Minjee's chipping from now, all the way down to a hazard and reeds and probably a couple of snakes. I don't really want to say that. We are headed toward the 12th, which is known in this part of the world as the snake pit. So,
Ali, as we know, this is, you know, fairly natural, this land here, and it's very hard to get to some of these tees. I had to stand in some places today. I've got to tell you, I've been very uncomfortable. I know there's something lurking there as Minjee just pitches that one up.
I hope you took a golf club out there to kind of knock the ground around your feet in that fescue grass.
I've got a microphone.
Well, the trials of Minjee Lee continue. She's 2 over for the day, but still 2 in front in the Oates Vic Open. Karis Davidson, what a round. 5 under par for the day. She's 2 back. Hannah Green, we mentioned her earlier in the broadcast. She's 2 under par and 3 back, the young Australian. Well, it's a grind, but no less dramatic for that. Golf course is winning this afternoon. Here in round 3, Zihan Lin putting for par, and a little work left to go there.
You know, it must feel nice for those spectators out watching these final groups that play here week in, week out, to see the pros struggle in this kind of conditions, because these are reasonably normal conditions for this part of the world. The breeze, you know, does usually get up and come up to around about a 2-club wind. So this is really a pretty normal day for them. But obviously, that one dropping in nicely for Minjee Lee. So a good up and down there, saving par. But as I was saying, they might not play it in tournament conditions. So the greens are much harder. They're baked out, they're rolled, and they're quite fast. So club conditions, tournament conditions, a little bit different.
Now, huge putt for Marianne Skarpnord. It's for par, nicely done. So breaks that string of consecutive bogeys.
I know where she's headed. She better check that building for snakes before she pops in there. often you say nice bogey, but perhaps one saved there for Zihan Lin.
Minjee Lee 2 out in front of Karis Davison, 3 of Hannah Green and 4 of a bunch of players, including Jenny Hagland, Carolyn Headwall and Marianne Skarpnord, who's 3 over par for the round.
Few little reptile friends that live over that way, so we'll check for signs of life later from Peter Wilson.
Let's head down to Sandy McKenzie.
Something you don't see every day, Mitch. Going second. Contacts, it's hanging right. Wow, this is really serious out here. The wind is really blowing straight into them.
That's a pretty decent shot. Just found really the first third of the green, but a decent length putt coming up for Minjee. But they are really a long way back, aren't they, Sandy?
Yeah, well, Minjee did cold top her second shot.
Okay, well, that might have something to do with it.
That has a fair bit to do with it. But at the same time, Lynn is back here at the 150-yard marker, the white marker for the members. So she's 150. The yardage she's got 149. To the front and then some. Going with a wood in here. It's really hard to see where these are even going to land. We're so far back. You have to fill us in, Ali.
We'll let you know, and I can tell you that if position A1 was on the green, that's in position D in the back right, and she has a very tough shot coming up over the bunker. So a little bit of touch required for Taiwanese amateur Lin.
Some interesting moves on our leaderboard at the moment. Yuka Saso, the amateur, is 4 under par today and has just leapt up into 4th place, or a tie for 4th place, at 3 under and just 4 shots back. So 2 amateurs in the top 6 players at the moment. Pernilla Lindberg, just 2 under. She shot a round of 70 and has also moved into the top 10 along with Cheyenne Woods. She shot a 4 under par round today, and that was a big move.
Really does need to play it back and knock it down a little bit. Not a bad ball flight. Coming back onto the flag, it could be good. We can't see it from back here.
Oh, that is pretty good indeed. It is just catching the swell, so moving a little bit further back down towards that front left section of the green, but really one of the only approaches we've seen go close on that left side.
And to give you some idea of the difficulty out,
Spent it all on the ring, so this is the shot we were referring to earlier. Zihan Lin. Needed to be high and soft with wind downhill, downwind off the right. It's going to be interesting to see who goes first here, because Minjee Lee presumably is further away, perhaps, but she is on the green.
I don't know how these players are feeling, because it's very exhausting watching. I feel for them. And the problem is, there's just not getting... I mean, nobody's got a realistic chance at birdie around here. They're all battling to make par. As we watch Lynn from off the green. Now, this is her 4th shot. 5th shot, sorry. Having come from the back of the green and putting off the front. So they're really, really struggling with the conditions. Greens are fast, and with this wind, they're only going to get faster.
I think we need to invest in one of those score clickers, you know, the ones that keep track for you when you start losing count of the numbers out there, Sandy.
You can tell I'm having a hard time working it out. I think I'm getting distracted, Alec. I heard you talk something about a snake pit coming up very shortly.
Look out.
Yeah, don't worry, I will be. Where's our snake wrangler? I hope he's back there. Now, Minji again finds herself a long, long way away, having to hit 3 woods in to this par 5. She's down a slope, up and over, big right to left. You can see how far she's had to go out to the right to let it come around. And job is not done yet.
Well, it's bringing more players into the championship, including, and there is an amazing round being played at the moment by Karis Davidson from Australia, who's 6 under par, Ali, with 2 to play.
Yeah, Karis having a really great last 6 months, really. Came through, you know, the Golf Australia program, and she's just got her card on the Japanese tour, and that is potentially equally grueling in terms of a Q school than that of the LPGA. It's 4 stages, it's 4 trips to Japan, and back and forth they're about a month apart. So congratulations to Karis. It's great to see her playing well today, and I'm sure her coach Ian Triggs will be watching quite closely this weekend.
Now, a rare birdie opportunity here for Skarpnord. She has really struggled through the middle part of this round.
Well, she's not having a great day, but she just needs to hang tough at the moment and try to. She's got a couple of par 5s to come. She needs to get this into the house without any more broken bones.
It's almost the time for a well-placed leaderboard, really, isn't it? Where you just kind of check yourself, maybe have a look up and see where you are, because she's still in the top 5 at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And she must feel like everything's going badly for her. But if Minji Lee misses this, she's only 3 back of the lead. You know, for someone who's played, you know, probably 100, maybe 150 rounds at this golf course and has the capacity to shoot a very low score. So Minji really working overtime. She's called the caddy in, and on an historical basis, we would observe that that's not usually a good thing.
Never a good sign when the caddy comes in to have a practice putt. Clearly you're slightly confused yourself. Well, it would be a good par when you've been that far away and you've had to hit 3 woods down the fairway. But again, you know, another one that's just put herself too far away from the flag to have a realistic chance of making any birdies. I haven't seen a putt hole since I've been out here.
Well, the caddy gets some props there. He's going to get paid this week for that one, maybe for just that read. Well done. But we haven't, yeah, it hasn't been a great day on the greens for Minji Lee.
Almost willing this one in for Zihan Lin.
I think, Ali, the really interesting thing about her, I mean, she's fabulous to watch. She's so aggressive and absolutely has a crack at everything. But course management may take a while. Just not, you know, having a go at places where she really shouldn't be having a go, and just making it tough for herself. But, I mean, she's very exciting to watch.
Yeah, she's got a great golf swing too. Really liking watching her game, but and you look at the two of them, and they're teenagers, and they're out there together, and you know, you wonder what maybe further down the track, an experienced caddy on the bag of someone with this amount of talent, what kind of an impact that could have.
Well, Saturday's called Moving Day in professional golf, and this afternoon no one in the men's championship has made a bigger move than Stephen Jeffress, a 6 under par round of 66, and he's with Mark Hayes. Well, there's no room for drawing pictures on the card. That was the message there from Steve Jeffress. Look at Minji Lee on the exposed 12th tee. And over to Marianne Skarpnord. What's happening with the wind down here, Sandy?
We've got a nice little tail breeze right behind us at the moment, so Menji just went with a wedge there. There's going to be plenty of air time here. Hole just playing. That you get, and you can see if you will go right to left.
They just really hung up on the top of that ridge, didn't get the help down the slope.
Need to be a little bit brave here, Ali, and just keep it to the right of the flag. Nearly bring it in over the left edge of the bunker. That sounded a little heavy. Oh, it's going to come up way short, gets a kick to the right.
Yeah, pretty friendly bounce forward and on a little upslope, so not the most difficult up and down there for the Taiwanese player.
One of the most impressive rounds on the golf course right now. Karis Davidson, this for birdie on 8, just misses, and that would have been birdie number 7 of the day. But perhaps the most impressive part of her round so far is that she's bogey free on what's been realistically the toughest day so far this week on the golf course. Playing, of course, the wrong way round. So just one hole left to go for Karis.
Well, super impressive.
Just need to keep giving yourself chances, but a chance maybe for an up and down here for Zihan Lin from the front of the green. Seems to have putter in hand.
Bit interesting. Quite a little mound in front of her, Ali, and it's up and over, then hits the green, then it starts moving right to left and it falls away from her at the back of the green. Should be a good read if she gets this right. Now it should quicken up a little bit. Pretty good result from where she was.
No real error off the tee, coming up so short. So just about 2 or 3 feet left for par. Not too bad. Par 3s on this beach course. Certainly some of the more challenging holes on the golf course, on the layout. And a couple uphill, couple downhill. You look at the 12th really and think that this is a snackable par 3. It looks quite benign from the tee, but we know that what's a relatively flat greens complex still can be quite tricky to navigate.
I think too with this right-hand side pin, if you do bring it in over on those bunkers on the right, everything you hit is going to be on a downhill slope. And then it does run away at the back, so it's actually really difficult bringing it in over the bunkers. And then if you're slightly left of them, it does kick quite severely right to left. So very hard pin placement to get close to. Menji just sitting up on a ridge here. So she's up on the higher level, drops down quite considerably, just about 2 or 3 feet in front of her. Now it's going down. Now it should start coming around. Oh, not as much as either of us thought.
Well, we talk about the subtleties, and you finally get to a relatively flat area of a green, you think great, and then you're still walking away with a 2-putt somehow.
Well, it just shows you the difficulty on these greens today, because we have not had any sort of real putt hold. I think Marianne hold a reasonable one earlier in the round, but gee, they've been tough to come by.
Nicely lagged from the Norwegian.
So a par for Marianne Skarpnord. She stays in a tie for fourth despite being 3 over par for the day. One back of Hannah Green, who's got 2 to play at 4 under. It is a real test out here this afternoon for both the men's and the women's fields.
Less. And as we see, 2 over par for the day for our current leader, Australia's best female golfer, Karis Davidson. What a round she has had. 6 under par today. And Hannah Green, another Western Australia, making a charge up the leaderboard off very lacking preparations. Came in from the Bahamas at 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday. But it just goes to show that anything can happen here on the weekend at the 2018 Oates Vic Open.
Welcome back to the back 9 to closing stages of the 3rd round of the Oates Vic Open. This is Hannah Green. Way offline on 17, the par 3. That's a magnificent shot, though. What beautiful touch, and it's one of the reasons, Ali, why she's being touted as a big star of the future.
Yeah, there's just nothing really wrong with Hannah's game. She's come off birdie at 14, birdie at 15, bogey at 16. So a chance there to kind of stop the rod a little bit. It was her first bogey of the day, but just a really calm, cool, collected young lady, really. Saw her this morning. Her partner, boyfriend Jared Felton, is playing in the men's side, so just another couple storyline. And saw Hannah, she had a little backpack on with her foam roller, chai tea in hand, and went and watched him for a little while before she went out herself. So really nice supporters of each other. Sat down and had a bit of a coffee, and I asked her if she'd spoken to Nikki Campbell, who was an incredible golfer out of the ACT, out of Canberra, who went and played there for a very long time, have a very successful career in Japan, and just said to Karis, why don't you get in touch with Nikki? So Nikki Campbell, if you're listening, maybe throw a couple of words of advice Karis's way. But Karis's boyfriend actually lives in Nagoya, so he's Japanese and lives over there, so she's got a nice little base. She seems pretty excited about it all, as you would be.
As you would be. Well, Hannah Green, after that wonderful pitch, this for a par 3. Beautifully done. So she'll stay at 4 under, 3 back of Minjee Lee, and 2 back of second place with Karis Davidson, who's got very much an outside chance for birdie on her final hole.
In this all-star field.
This putt for the equal lead in the championship. It won't be, but it's just a tap in and a really spectacular round of golf in challenging conditions. A 6 under par round of 66. She will move to 6 under and just 1 stroke back of the lead. So congratulations to Karis Davidson.
This morning, it's going to be a little different.
And playing in the last group more than likely as well. So a big day coming up for Karis Davidson. She's 1 back of Minjee Lee. Hannah Green's 3 back. Panarat Tanaponbunyaris, she's 4 back. Yuka Saso from the Philippines, 4 under par today. That's terrific golf. Marianne Skarpnord going the other direction, but still in a tie for 4th place.
For Hannah Green. It's nice to take a look at the 18th, really, and you cast your minds back to last year and how many people surrounded this green for the playoff between Mel Reid and Sandra Gall. Richie Smith, coach of Hannah Green and Minjee Lee, He's certainly doing something right, producing some of the best players in the country. And we're going to see a whole lot more of Hannah.
Well, just a few holes left for our leaders this afternoon at the 2018 Oates Vic Open. And as has been the case all day, Minjee Lee holding on at the top of the leaderboard. Karis Davidson is just one back, Hannah Green 3 back, and then 2 players on 3 under, including Marianne Skarpnord, who's righted things in the last few holes. Great round from Cheyenne Woods, 4 under par. That's moved her into a tie for 6th, coming from way back today. Tomorrow coming from 4 or 5 back and posting an early score again.
Well, the clubhouse is in sight for these players, but unfortunately they're going to have to walk away from it just one more time. 163 to get all the way back with the tail breeze. It's going to be so hard to judge the bounce. These greens are getting, now it's not going to come out of the hollow, but they're getting firmer and firmer with the wind and the sunshine, and the weather is only going to get warmer as the days progress.
Yeah, they're certainly baking out and just trying to work out where to land the ball. Might even be short of the green now.
I think that's going to be it, Ali. And the wind is very, I mean, it's strong and it's blustery and very hard to judge, and it'll settle just for a second and then off it goes again. So it is really tough conditions out here. Just 125 to the front for Minjee. That's all she really needs to do. If it lands too hard, gets it just to the front. Got to stop though.
Yeah, just snuck over the back there, Sandy. Of the great rounds today, there have been few better than Karis Davidson, and she was able to catch up with Mark Hayes.
I'm here with Karis.
Popular spot over the back of the green, Minjee Lee has found. All down here from here, downhill from here, I should say. You know this shot's going to keep rolling out another 4 or 5 feet. Pick a target a little bit closer to you. Let it roll over it. Oh, that one just held up. Maybe the wind just playing a little bit of a factor there. As you can see, blowing straight back into Minjee's face.
Pretty straightforward pitch here, Sandy, for Marianne Skarpnord. Yeah, just a little upslope there for the Norwegian. And that has just taken off, and she's left herself on the wrong side of the hole, putting down the slope, and frustration showing there.
You know, with all of these undulations, they're unhappy about the speed of the green or anything like that. So it really is just a bit of a chess game and trying to work out which side. And you can see Lynn here, nearly chipping in from off the green, because she is the only player that really gave herself a chance to do so. Just being on the correct low side, not a lot of break, just kind of almost playing back for your miss on days like today is pretty important.
Yeah, certainly. Where you miss the green when you're faced with a challenging approach shot is, it might sound negative in essence, but it's smart. It's quite often in this game at a professional level, it's not about how many great shots you hit, but about how many bad shots you don't.
Yeah, maybe trying to just make sure that your bad shots are better than everyone else's.
Yeah, and take your chances where they are afforded, you know, which is in professional golf, which is on par 5s, which is on downwind holes where there's a easy pin position, and these are the strategies and the mindsets that you have to assume when you play this game for a living.
Huge amount of break. It's not the easiest putt to read on this golf course, and you know, that's the thing. You often see players, I think, when you're on such slopey greens, struggle with the straight ones. You know, it can either be a massive relief to get over that straight putt, or all of a sudden you're not really used to seeing much flat space and then not capitalising.
Yeah, it's a really disappointing bogey there for Marianne from what was a pretty simple up and down on the upslope short of the green. And she'll have a pretty interesting debrief with her partner and fellow competitor, Richard Green, tonight.
I'm sure that one will be pretty candid. But it is interesting when you think about the fact that, you know, you look at sports like tennis and you have unforced errors. That was an unforced error for Marianne Skarpnord, yet we don't have a stat for that really in golf. And, you know, they're the ones that on days like today you want to keep off your card because it's tough enough as it is. I think Minjee needs to go to the pro shop and buy a few putts for tomorrow.
That's been the story of the day, but as poorly as she has putted, she still finds herself out in front. A real testament to the
from one Richie Smith protege to another. Minjee Lee taking the aggressive play on the short par 4. And that found the bunker, but not the worst place to be. It does depend a little bit on the lie. If you can get an uphill lie in there, then manage to generate a little bit of spin to that front section.
And particularly where that front pin is located. If you get a good lie, you can just flop it out on the green, let it run down to the pin, and give yourself a very makeable opportunity. What Marianne Skarpnord would do for a good tee shot here, and an easy birdie.
She was set up well out toward the right then, just kind of seemed to come across it a little bit and draw it round. And it's worth taking a look at the 15th. From overhead, because it is 280 metres for both the men and the women. They play from the same tee here, and then you can see those bunkers down on the right. Around about 219 metres to carry those, so really the equation for these lead female groups will be just to the left of them, and there's a very small slot that you can put it through, which gets you down toward the front right section of this green. And obviously those bunkers on the left, not the place to be. 20 birdies so far today here on the 15th hole, pinned today on the front right section. So anything short right, and you'll be out with a reasonably makeable up and down. Walk away with a 3 on this reachable par 4. It's an exciting part of the golf course. Really, it kind of gets underway, that little 4-hole section.
Well, this is we saw some amazing heroics on this hole, and let's have a listen to Richard Green talk. Get it out of the road of Minjee Lee. And so Minjee will play first, and then they'll rake the bunker. And Sandy, it's not the easiest shot, but players of this calibre should be able to get it up and down.
Well, she should, because she actually does have a little bit of room on the green, and there's a bit of grass between the green and the bunker. But that lip it's quite steep. It just seems to curve back into you a little bit. But the problem's going to be she needs to land it just to the left of her. There's a little bit of a ridge. And now if she catches any part of that, of course, they're going to run. And we've seen that time and time again today. But the first player to go will be Lynn from off the front of the green. Just going to bump this along with Little Rescue Club. Just play that like a big long putt. Settle down. Good looking shot.
That was very nicely done.
She's going to be a player of the future, Ali. We'll be seeing a lot more of her to come.
I wonder, you know, how many players we are going to see given the programs put together, the Swinging Skirts Foundation, and they're obviously doing the right things out in Chinese Taipei.
Now Minjee in this bunker, she looks to be landing fairly well left. Just trying to float it just over the edge, and she does that so well. It's a bit unlucky. It actually hit a little bump in the road there. Would have run down a little bit further, but it was such a fine line.
Really seemed to take almost a little bit of an abbreviated follow through and just chop through that shot, try and use the leading edge a little bit, and that's what you have to do a little bit more of.
She certainly does, and look at the way she's laying this open. She's nearly going at it hosel first. Really trying to slide in underneath this. It's a lot of sand now. It's got to stop though. It's a difficult shot. It's all downhill. It's not easy.
Yeah, well, she's left herself above the hole, only around probably 8 feet for birdie. And putting back into the breeze a little, but down the slope. So they make a...
It is almost like the final sprint. Once you make that little journey from 14 green to 15, you do kind of get the element and the feeling that you're on the home stretch, and just maybe that could just revive a few of these players.
Okay, birdie putt for Minjee Lee is to get to 8 under. And you're hardly surprised when the moment comes, this young lady just grabs the opportunity. And it'll take her to 8 under and a 2-stroke lead in the 2018 Vic Open.
Nicely done for Marianne Skarpnord. And that's pretty much textbook on how to play this 15th hole from the young 17-year-old.
Yeah, beautiful tee shot, lovely second, and just a tap in for birdie, and that will move her up to 3 under par and into 5th place. So she's hanging tough on a very tough afternoon where there aren't a lot of subpar scores, but the ones that are quite spectacular, including Karis Davidson, a 6 under par round of 66. She finds herself 2 back now from Minjee Lee. Hannah Green's finished in the clubhouse, and she's at 4 under par, the rising star of Australian golf. Marianne Skarpnord, a very challenging day, but that birdie may give her a real shot in the arm. With just 3 holes to play in her third round.
There, that should get hold of it. 146 to the flag. Low, but left it leaking out to the right-hand side.
Left. Yep.
It's probably the kindest pin position that you can have really on this 16th hole. Anything up on that left-hand side, there's a 2-tier green, and that left tier is quite tricky.
I'm sure we'll know where it's going to be tomorrow.
Don't even ask for it, Sandy.
145 for Minji to the flag, but she's got a 6-iron in her hand. Just had a little bit of a stumble earlier in the day, but she's been solid. Nobody's really challenged. Now this is seriously hanging in the wind and going left. It's way short.
Yeah, perhaps maybe a little bit of a misfire on that one, because usually when you pull the ball, it does go further and it kind of flights through the wind. Suggests maybe a bit of a miss strike on the club face.
And really grazed their knuckles a little here on Saturday afternoon. A nice pitch there from Lynn Hahn.
Dottie for sure is Heather Lynn has just been really a find. She's such a fabulous little player, 17 years of age, and she's been aggressive, got her into a bit of trouble at times today, but I think she's one who has really enjoyed the day regardless of the conditions, but we'll be seeing a lot more of her.
Exactly what we were muttering about this young woman, Minji Lee, a couple of years ago.
Still a little bit of work there for Minji, though, with that wind really having a big effect on her second shot in. You wouldn't know it's standing up at the green now. It's so well protected by a lot of pine trees at the back.
It was a feature of the course that Nick Faldo and Tony Cashmore, they were keen to keep those pine trees out on the golf course. There's a lot more of them actually on the creek course, but it was a feature that they were really wanting to kind of almost champion on a few holes out here on the 13th Beach Golf Links. Skarpnord.
Just gets onto the green now. It's severely downhill. It's been a very, very frustrating day.
Yeah, just got to keep hanging tough. When you're tired, you've had a really, really long.
And really, you know, you could almost put that in the unforced error category. Not a very difficult chip from around most angles, really, of this whole location today. Short, right, long, and unless you get a bit of a rough lie, it's usually reasonably makeable or get close with your chips. Minji almost down in that little valley.
Yeah, that ball rolled on, Ellie, a lot further than it actually looked. There's a pretty decent amount of length in this putt. But basically, as it's gone downhill, of course, she's got a slightly uphill putt here. Oh, that was not one of Minji's better strokes.
That's one I think she'd like to forget. Well, just take a second to clean the golf ball. Still got a little bit of 13th Beach attached to it.
Yeah, she'll be very disappointed today, Marianne Skarpnord, this virtually being her home club on her back doorstep, and she would really expect that she would be able to use a little bit of local knowledge around here, but just had that run of bogeys going in the middle. Took a while to stop that train wreck.
Just another classic example of the slopes getting in the way.
They certainly are. Well, Minjee Lee, the up and down day continues. She's 1 ahead of Karis Davidson. She's 3 ahead of Hannah Green and Marianne Skarpnord. She's 5 ahead of Cheyenne Woods, Pernilla Lindberg, Georgia Hall, and Han Lin Xie. That is the look behind the tee on 17. Just one of the outstanding par threes here at 13th Beach. And this is Minjee Lee. And really, probably the best shot we've seen here all day. Wonderful penetrating ball flight there.
And then another lower right section. So front right, front left, very popular spots. Anything long and you're in trouble today with the pin on that left hand front section. So really, you just want to go exactly where Minjee has. And you can see brother Minwoo has come out to support. So having a little bit of a chat there.
Only 4 birdies so far today on 17.
What do you think they're talking about? Dinner, maybe?
Yeah, well, that's the interesting question. Maybe, you know, I actually don't know Minjee very well, so I don't know just how relaxed she might be on the golf course, but I reckon it'd be great to just see your brother turn up in the gallery for moral support, and, you know, someone you know so well, perhaps just take a little bit of stress off your mind, relax you a little bit.
Well, you play all year round without a support group, really, from your family. So it's luxurious once you can finally, you know, get someone around that knows you so well, and maybe even just, you know, take your mind off golf for a second in that moment. And that's one of the cool parts about this event in particular, you know, walking along the fairways with all the spectators. And, I mean, people seem to come out of the woodwork as well at Vic Open. And I believe Sandy McKenzie's down there with Minwoo.
You just caught us on the hop just a little bit there, Ali. Minwoo, Minjee's brother here, he's been out supporting, watching. What are you thinking of your sis?
Yeah, she's playing very solid. It's pretty windy, so yeah, an under-par score is pretty good. She's playing pretty solid, but yeah, she's got a birdie putt, so hopefully she holds it.
This is a day where you had to just try and hold it together, because it's tough, and it's so hard to get close to the flag.
Yeah, it's very tough. It's pretty windy, so yeah, hopefully she just keeps...
For you as well?
Yeah, definitely. I've always loved coming back here. I got Super 6 next week, so that's a big important one, so hopefully good vibes going next week.
Oh, that'll be a lot of fun. It's just so great to have both of you playing in the same event. And good luck to you, and good luck to her tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you very much. Cheers.
Well, he is a heck of a player. I mean, we know how good Minjee Lee is, but Minwoo Lee has just so much potential. He's extraordinarily long. He's just got a massive game, and I'd be very, very surprised if he doesn't have a terrific career as a professional when he finally decides to turn pro.
Yeah, and if he doesn't do well in golf, he'll do well in social media. That kid is hilarious with some of the stuff that he comes up. So go and take a look at Twitter and Instagram and try and track him down, because he doesn't leave anything off. Let's put it that way. His social media. So you're there for every step of the journey, and it's nice to see him out there supporting Big Sis.
It's a second shot on the penultimate hole. Sihan Lin.
Yes, and this has got a reasonable amount of difficulty to it, this one. Slightly downhill lie where she is, but there's no room trying to bounce it. That was never, ever going to work. And yeah, it looks like it's going to pretty much roll back to the base of the hill, but very tight with this very limited room and very firm green, and then it was always going to be downhill, so it was an easy one to leave short.
Could she have used the slope back left of the pin and almost rolled it up and then tried to come off that way, Sandy?
I think, Ali, she could have gone further left and just given herself a lot more room, because that does swing around and across the green, and she would have had probably a better chance of getting the ball within reason. Still got a tough shot now, opening the club face right up to try and get this cut in underneath it. Get it to land soft. That's got to go. Oh, it's snuck over. Well, how good is that? Oh, what a shot.
The old, what is it, up and down now, but it would have just been the up and in.
Well, that's a really great salvage from a potentially semi-disastrous situation. If there is such a thing as a good bogey, Ali, that's it.
I think just having an easy tap in after that first chip just takes a little bit of the pressure off. Looks as though it's going to be Minjee Lee up next.
Yeah, it will be Minjee to go next, and a good shot in here, considering the problem that they all had here was the fact that you've got that big line of pine trees again that still cut the breeze out where you're standing on the tee, but of course as soon as it gets above them it does create a lot of havoc. So for her to get on the right level here with a 5-iron was a really good shot. It was quite funny. I just walked up the fairway with Marianne, and she said, how can you hit it 40 yards wide? I said, pretty easy on the 17th when it's been a long day. And she said, oh, I just cannot wait to sleep tonight.
Oh.
It's been a toughie.
Yeah, and it's reflected in the leaderboard today.
This for birdie for Minjee Lee to extend her lead. Yeah, very interesting look at the stat sheet tonight. Off the top of my head, I can't think of how many putts she's had, but I'd be very doubtful she's going to break 30 today.
I think she'd be lucky to break about 34, to be honest. Hasn't made that many out there, has she, Sandy?
Well, there just hasn't. Nobody's really put themselves in a position. And a lot of it's to do with the firmness of the greens and the wind and everything else. It's been hard to get close to the flag. And, you know, when you're 20, 30 feet away on difficult greens, your option is looking at 2 putts. They're hard to try and hole. So we've seen next to no birdies with this group out here today.
Chance to stay at 4 under par.
This will be a great up and down. Now another one slides by. However, she'll get the sight in a moment she's been looking for a very long time today, and that will be the clubhouse.
I'll tell you one thing, though, Sandy, there's a little bit of... Well, it's a bogey 4 for Marianne Skarpnord. She'll drop back to 3 under, and if she finishes at 3 under, Ali, then she'll miss the final group tomorrow, and that actually might be a good thing for her and her mindset at the moment. Playing in the last group of a championship there's something mentally challenging about it. It's a difficult situation to find yourself in, and I think it might even help her to go out in the second last group tomorrow and perhaps have a little bit of that attention off her.
Yeah, and she's going to get an earlier tea time than the leaders, so maybe even that 20 minutes or so will help. We talked about 18, and it is a sharp dog leg round to the left, really off the tee. It takes quite a bit of mental fortitude to pick a line off the tee, really, because you do want to almost go over the bunkers and then go toward the hazard and then try and cut as much of that dog leg off as possible. On a quiet, calm day, this hole is reachable in two with an iron even for some players, but we'll have to see how it plays today. Now, those are the two short bunkers I was referring to, just on the tree line on the left-hand side. That's a really good line.
Now that's going well right out towards the bunkers and those pine trees, and people are scattering everywhere.
Now towards Copperhead snake territory.
Yeah, don't worry. I've been watching all day long.
Well, there was a sighting out there earlier. Apparently a little baby Copperhead's slithering around out there, but I'm sure the snake wranglers got it already.
Everybody says they run away from you, but...
And hopefully not hit a duck hook and take out our cameraman.
Pretty good contact, got it going left to right, though. It's heading towards all those bunkers. It's got to find something.
Well, that is a pretty challenging pitch, although she does have the advantage of coming back into the breeze, but not a lot of green to work with.
I think the word we're looking for is short-sighted.
Yeah.
That is going to be tough. Lynn now.
Just trying to punch out. She was in some fairly heavy rough, just trying to keep it on the fairway, which she's not going to do. Going to run across the other side. That, I think, came out a little cleaner than she thought it would.
Yeah, and she's found that part of the golf course on 18 in between the fairway and that hazard, and it's almost like a packed, hard-packed dirt. Zerhan.
Having a real crack at this, but it's heading to the right.
Oh, just a few rolls off the bunker, and I think Marianne Skarpnord would rather be in the sand.
See the flag stick in the distance, really starting to bend over. Contact is good, it's low. It's starting to move a little bit to the right.
Not a dissimilar position to that of Marianne Skarpnord. And the women's side, Minjee Lee, Karis Davidson and Hannah Green.
And a mirror position in the men's field as well. Simon Hawke, Steve Jeffress, Corey Crawford. Now Minjee playing her third shot. Oh, beautifully done. Pitching back into the breeze and getting plenty of grip on it. And
ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome.
Leaving herself around 5-6 feet left for birdie.
Victorian Open from Norway, Marianne Skarpnord. From Taiwan, Lynn Zihan.
To right though. Oh, that's got a lot of airtime on it, and it needs a lot of spin.
Yeah, Did get a little bit of check, but obviously just skipping through with that bounce with the club face wide open on the tight light.
Off the back of the bunker, she's got to be so careful with this, trying to land it like a feather. Oh, stop. You just didn't take the check.
Not the worst leave, though, for the Norwegian. His day.
I think it's been really good. I think she's given it a crack all day. She's clearly got an awful lot of talent. She's been very aggressive. I think she's thrived on the experience, made some mistakes, but as I said earlier, possibly her course management, that might take a little time. She's been really impressive, but she's just so very young. But what a player, what a talent.
When you speak of talent, and course management you can teach, but talent you can't. So at least she's got one half of the equation, and then...
And the most important part at this stage, because she will, as you said, Ali, she will learn her course management as she goes along. But at the moment, it's just, let's have a go at everything. It'd be great to see Marianne actually hole a putt, and what a nice one it would be to hole at this stage of the day. Last one, hopefully.
There you go.
She needed that.
Yeah, she did, and showing the heart of the champion, Marianne Skarpnord. It's the acclamation of a caddy, and when she looks at that leaderboard after she signed her card, she'll go, well, maybe that wasn't so bad after all.
With the amount of good memories that Marianne Skarpnord has on 18 green, it's surprising she doesn't make birdie every single time, really.
Finish. And they've had the privilege of watching the world number 20 play in tough conditions. This to increase her lead by a stroke. Well, she'd putted just moderately. She would have really gapped the field today. She had a horrible day on the greens. But she still leads the 2018 Vic Open. And you'd have to say, Ali, that she's probably unlikely to have another day on the greens like that 2 days in a row.
Yeah, it's unlike Minjee, but obviously, you know, today was just a grind for absolutely everyone on the golf course. And realistically, you know, she had a good putting day yesterday, not so much on the first day. She's had an average one today, so maybe onward and upward in the final round.
Absolutely. There is our leader, and the overnight leader will be the overnight leader once again. Minjee Lee, a 2 over par round. She'll sign in at 7 under, and tomorrow she'll play in an all-Australian final group with Karis Davidson, who had a spectacular day, a round of 6 under par 66. Hannah Green at 4 under with a 2 under par round. They will play in the final group. Marianne Skarpnord at 3 under. So she'll be 4 under after making that birdie up the last. Great round from Cheyenne Woods, 4 under par total. Vanilla Lindbergh, Georgia Hall at 2 under. Women's leader, Minjee Lee.
Well, I am with Minjee Lee, tournament leader. Minjee, well done. That was a really tough day.
Yeah, I mean, the wind was blowing, I think, a little bit differently today, so a little bit tougher conditions, and obviously the wind was really strong. So, yeah, no, it was a grind out there.
From watching all day, it looked like it was terribly hard to get close to the flag.
Yeah.
The firmness of the greens and the wind, and it was hard to get in close.
Yeah, I think some of the pin placements, I think the wind was blowing away from the pins, so, yeah, it was a little bit tougher to get to the pins, but, yeah.
You would have had possibly a really frustrating day on the greens. You had a lot of lip outs, a couple of horseshoes, not a lot sort of went your way, did it, in the putting department?
Yeah, I mean, at the start probably lipped out a few, and obviously the last hole, but Yeah, just in the middle, I think I saved quite a few, so half and half, I think, today.
The most important part about today, because you play with the young 17-year-old from Taiwan, who was all guns blazing, but it's all about patience, isn't it, when you're playing a day like this?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the wind is crazy out there, and obviously you want to play well, but you have to stay patient as well. Just take whatever it gives you and just get on with it.
And I'll ask you about, of course, it's your first week with new caddy Jason Gilroyd, and this is a tough one for him to come in on with the wind blowing like this, and it takes a while to adjust to, play a caddy combination. How'd you get on?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't warn him about the wind this week, but yeah, so far so good. We're doing pretty well, I think, for the first week. So yeah, no, I'm enjoying my time with him, and hopefully it's a long partnership.
And you've got your brother out there tweeting his way around the golf course as well, doing all his social media. He's a big support for you?
Yeah, I mean, he's right there watching me right now, but yeah, no, it's good. Obviously, having my whole family here and also my brother, it's great support for me. So, yeah, no, it's good.
Well, you are Australia's top female golfer, and it is fantastic to have you leading this event. We'll look forward to seeing what you can do tomorrow, and hopefully that wind won't be quite as bad.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great. Thank you.
Well done, Minji.
Thanks.
Before. Beth Allen, she had it going today, but she finds herself at 1 under par. Panarat Tana Bonjararis at 1 under. Chetty Hagland 1 under par as well. Yuka Saso also had it going from the Philippines, finished at 1 under, along with defending champion Mel Reid at even par, Camilla Leonard at even as well.